Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another evening. Here we are, 6:30, joining together. I hope you're enjoying your dinner, or if you've had an early one, I hope you've enjoyed that. If you're sitting down, I'm not going to have too much tonight. I don't think that's going to make you sick, but I do hope to have you a great deal of stuff that'll give you some level of excitement. And tonight, we're going to focus a little bit on a few exciting things that are happening. One exciting thing that I have recently seen, and I am really proud to have seen, is this short little piece from a parent who's had enough in America with what they're teaching in school.
Hey, not.
Wait,
What are you doing? Not.
Oh,
I am not paying
How dare
my.
you?
I am not paying my tax
Mom.
money
Get
to
out.
support.
Get out of this
this type
classroom
of.
now. You do
Like,
not
why do you
belong.
have this hanging?
That's your mom.
And why do you have this hanging up for your
Why?
kids
Part
to
of-
see?
Mom.
It's part of the students here.
No, it's not part of anything.
Mom.
That is uncalled for. We are paying you to teach history, and that's what you need to be teaching.
Excuse me, this is a public school, little lady.
You are
Get out.
excused.
You are. Do you see what's on this side? It's
No.
brown
This
and
needs
black.
to go exactly where it is, in the garbage.
You need to go in the
No,
garbage. Get
I'm
out.
teaching my son to grow up to be a man.
Get
And
out.
I don't want you hanging no
All right.
flag,
I'm calling security.
hanging a flag up
I'm
for
calling
you to
security.
sit up there and teach them the type of stuff I'm trying to keep them away from.
I told you what would happen.
No.
I told you.
No.
I told you somebody
You don't
parent
need
gonna
to
get
call
mad.
me. You need to be teaching history.
33, please.
No, you need to be teaching
You need to
history.
shut up
No,
and get out.
Hey,
I'm not getting
don't
out
talk
of
to my mom
nowhere.
like that.
I'm not getting out
You
of
shut
nowhere.
up, too.
Hey, no, you don't tell my son to
Your
shut
son
up.
is
You
failing.
talking to me.
Your
And
son
like
is failing.
My son ain't failing.
Yeah.
He needs to be failing because you got a flag
Failing
hanging up
because of you.
over
Because
the
of
United
how-
States of America. You need to.
You got a flag raised over the United States of America, and it's not the United States of America flag. That is one motivated mama. Good on her too, and her son stood up for her in the argument too. It was good to hear him standing up in the background. Now, you going into bat for your kids at your school? I hope so. It's a growing movement, and if it is happening, make sure you film it because they really don't know what they're doing in those schools. They like the idea that they're closeted behind the fences, and that the kids, particularly in high schools in those years, those teenage years, are very secretive. So they don't come home and tell you what sort of crap's going on at school, in many cases at any rate. And voila, here we are, a whole bunch of left-leaning teachers teaching whatever the hell they like to our kids. Parents' rights gone out the door. Well, let's move on. There is other things that are happening in the world. And in fact, one big thing happened in the world on Sunday. That was the launch of the My Place Unity Hub. Now, it is a brilliant, brilliant website for all of us to get involved in. If you haven't been there yet, go and check it out. You'll find it at my.myplaceaustralia. So my.myplaceaustralia.org is where you'll find the Unity Hub links. And to take us through it this fine evening, the man who is all things internet to us. Good evening, Vince. How are you, buddy?
Hi, Carl. How are you going today?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, the Unity Hub is something you've been working on behind the scenes now, helping My Place for some months. It has been a big job. You're not the only person who is working on it, of course, though. So maybe you can start by explaining what the Unity Hub is and what you've been putting into it.
Long, difficult question. Effectively, the Unity Hub is the start of something big. Not just the hub itself, but what it curtails down the track for the freedom people, for the freedom movement, for the businesses that want to get in touch with reality and look after Australia for what it is. So it is a big part, but a small part of a very, very large dream for our society here in the country. How's that for an answer?
Yep, that's broad and vague. Well done.
Well, perfect politician answer, mate. That's how they do it.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into what it is. Now, it's not just a Facebook or a Gab or a community hub. It's much more than that. It is a place where every My Place in Australia has a place of its own. So if you happen to be traveling Australia, as we're about to start doing, it will be a invaluable resource to grey nomads and people traveling around the country, particularly if you're already in the My Place family, because you can just go through the Unity Hub, find out where the My Places are that are on your journey, and you will know that there are a bunch of friendly people waiting there for you when you get there. So I think that's one of the great benefits of this. But truly, I think the magic behind this is the infrastructure and the communications that are going into our networks, the networks of farmers, the medical and health networks, educational networks. This is almost removing ourselves from the mainstream tripe that they want to teach, and that video that I just played is a great example of the kind of shit that is being taught in our schools, and our kids are coming out not knowing how to read, write, or spell, but they do come out knowing that they should, march around anytime they see a rainbow flag, or they should stand up and be vocal when somebody is saying something that hurts their feelings. So Unity Hub isn't anything like that. Unity Hub is a unifying, as you would think from the name, a unifying of our My Place community together. But I think that's a good way of explaining it. Yeah,
Mate, I don't need to sell anything. You've already done it. You got a bit of lag happening there in your stream, so I gather we must be right on topic because they're putting some interference in.
Yeah.
So effectively, yes, the Unity Hub is about bringing the communities together, allowing the separate My Places to talk, to build up bits and pieces. One of the criticisms we're getting at the moment is the fact, we'll show you the Unity Hub a bit, but it's a paid service. Why is it a paid service? We're freedom fighters. We should be getting this for free. Well, hosting a server, supplying bandwidth, development, like there would be $100,000 worth of development that has gone into this Unity Hub.
Wow.
All right. That's not including, that's just labor. Now, I say $100,000 worth because it's been given voluntarily to date.
Wow.
Okay. So, there's the running of the hub that costs us $200 at the moment before it builds up with numbers. That's costing us $200 a month. When I say us, I see My Place Australia. Okay.
But that's only going to cost more as the whole thing grows.
Oh, massively, yes, because we've still got to supply new servers, new bandwidth, etc., and so on for each one.
Yeah.
Right. So that becomes its own little issue down the track. Now, not all of the money that is collected through this as becoming a member is going to be tied up with just the IT infrastructure and bits and pieces. If you do your maths, and a lot of people, say if we had all 40,000 people join, we're talking, a couple of $1 million worth.
Yep.
So that money can start going back into other things like paying for shows to be created for a TV network, etc., like paying for infrastructure or designing and developing infrastructure to be able to do food security and transport for food security, and maybe looking at insurances for our My Place communities, looking at setting up events, say a state event wants to occur, and the My Place Australia can throw some money down. Here you go, hire the hall, here's the art, here's the advertising, da-da-da-da-da. All right, so that's the purpose behind this. So we can start developing out into others. I mean, eventually, depending on how far we grow it, we could have our own bank. Now, wouldn't that be nice? One that will do both digital
and guess what the finances
cash
would be backed by? Gold and silver.
Gold and silver would be my guess.
Yeah.
Because that's where it should be. All right. Sorry, guys. Just needed to wet the throat. So
wet the whistle.
This is a much bigger dream than just this wonderful little platform that we've started. And Is it worth $60 a year to be on this? Well, I designed it along with the help of other people, right? We put it together and I was the first one to sign in and pay.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm just leading by example. I'm happy to pay for it, even though theoretically I should have got it for free because of all the hundreds of hours I've worked on it.
Yep.
But that's not the point. If we're going to be leading this country, we're going to lead from the front, not from the back.
So if you break down $60 for a year, it's going to cost you just over 16 cents a day to be part of My Place. Now, some years ago, the ABC used to say it's just 8 cents a day for your ABC. And look what they were able to achieve with 8 cents a day. Look at the infrastructure they were able to put in place. Look at the lying, deceitful communications network and the thieving, lying bastards they put in to control it, and been able to pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and then give them golden handshakes, probably in the millions. ITA's just left. And nobody seems to be asking questions why the advertising contract for Pfizer ads on the ABC was made with Ita Buttrose, not the ABC.
Hang on a minute. We got ads on the... I don't watch TV. Do we have ads on the ABC?
Yep, we do.
Hang on. Isn't that the Australian Broadcasting Network? I mean, isn't that paid for by us?
That was our 8 cents a day, but clearly that wasn't enough. So, you know, My Place is 16 cents a day. You've got to think the ABC is now up to about 30 cents a day, you'd think.
Oh, easily.
You think we're getting value for money?
Wouldn't
have thought that.
Yeah, well, that's we will. And the point is that it's not here to make people rich. That's not what My Place is about.
No.
It's about taking the money that comes in and spreading it back out into the community.
Reinvesting it where it needs to go.
It's a non-for-profit organisation. We've had to set it up that way. We unfortunately had to put a foot in both camps. All right, for us to be able to run this, to build up a substantial network where we can have our privacy and our freedom of information, not misinformation, but freedom of information, we had to be able to have a way of that being paid, which meant we had have to do a gate network. To do that, we had to get an ABN. So like a lot of us are starting to learn now, we are actually having to run a foot in both sides, one in their business corporate camp, one in our freedom group. And we're straddling that fence, all right? As one of our other IT guys likes to say, it's the splinter option, all right? You've got to take a pair of tweezers because we're sitting on the fence all the time.
Yep.
So when we look at that, we've got to say, okay, fair enough. We'll play with your game. We'll get ourselves an ABN so that we can get this business up and running, so that we can help the people. So we're going to use your own tool to hit you over the head with it later, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
Because that way, yeah, you want to, we will get an ABN. We have a non-for-profit. Here you are. Here's all the information. All those books will be open. Everybody will be able to see. And if we make a couple of $1 million, that gives us money to hit the bank, you know, to hit the corporates over the head with. You want to throw us a legal challenge? Oh, we'll see. We've actually got some lawyers on the books. So here's our answer to that. You know,
Yep.
We're not struggling to try and do it. So there's those sort of things. And the other part is it allows the community to talk about various things. One of the most prominent things at the moment is the current up-and-coming referendum that Darren has made himself quite clear on. Okay. Now, I'm part of that executive group. Do I agree with Darren? No. Right. As far as I'm concerned, right, yes, that's a fraudulent government. Yes, a lot of what Darren says is correct. But as far as I'm concerned, right, this referendum is about the Constitution. The Constitution controls the government, not the other way around. So it's not government. The Constitution is above that. This is why I think it's important to say a vote, whether it's yes or no. I'm not going to tell you which way I vote, but you can pretty well guess. All right. But effectively, I don't agree with Darren.
Yeah.
Does that mean we stop working together? No. right? It's Darren's opinion. What is it? In my opinion, well, it's in my personal opinion, right? So in my personal opinion, I will vote, and I will vote a particular way. And that's going to be to the advantage of the sovereign people, not making them lose their sovereignty.
Yeah.
So, but I really want to get across the point that Darren's opinions are his opinions. I have my opinions. Other people in their group have their opinions. But we don't stop working together because we don't agree with each other on everything.
Exactly.
Right? We are always going to continue to work together. And we're thick enough skinned that if we don't agree with us, just fine, just move on to the next point.
Yeah.
We're not here for us. We're here for Australia.
Yeah.
All of Australia, right? And that's what this is about.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
and the Unity
That's
Hub
exactly what we're doing.
brings us into that. That's what it's here for. It's so people can express their opinions. It's so people can join into groups. It's so people can do things on health and well-being or food transport or discussions about the voice or, I mean, everybody has an option to give information. And the only way you learn is if you get information from both sides of the fence. Not just one side, both sides. So as long as people aren't trolling and being abusive and they're prepared to pay, they're happy to come across and join our hub.
Yeah. And I think Darren made it pretty clear that you'll be allowed to have your opinion. You'll be allowed to speak your opinion, but there will be certain limits. If you're going to be opinionated in the pro sense that, you know, having sex with children is a great thing, you're not going to find much of a platform inside my place. If you are going to say Albo is doing the best thing by our country, then, or any politician is doing the best thing by our country, then you're not going to find a welcoming home at my place. There might be other places you should go. Maybe the Freemasons Lodge would be a good start. But
in all fairness, they can say that, Carl. We're not going to take them off of saying that Albo's whatever. No. You might get a lot of people who strongly disagree with you, but you're still going to have the opportunity to say it.
Absolutely. And you'll be welcome back next week to have another say if that's what you choose. But my place just isn't a platform to stand up and bitch and moan. My place, if you're going to stand up and bitch and moan, you'd also better be one of the people who are getting in and putting it together and working to make it work, because it is the doers who get to have an input in the way the future goes with all of this. It's not the people who sit back on their asses and let everybody else do the work and then complain about the work that's been done or it could have been done better this way. Don't ever want to hear that coming out of somebody in my place's mouth, because the first thing you'll be given is the directions to go and help or go and redo whatever it is you want to moan about and think you could do better. This is a unifying thing. It isn't a divisive thing. So if you have an idea that says, oh, well, look, I've got a better way of digging a hole, then everybody will look at your way of digging a hole. And if it turns out to be a faster, smarter, better way of digging a hole, then without having a committee meeting or having to pass a meeting at the end of the month, it will be adopted. We will dig the hole your way. But you'll have to prove that your way is a better way than the standard traditional way of digging a hole. Faster, better, for whatever reason. Because that's the nature of the people you're working with. We question you when you say things and ask you for your evidence. What backs? So, Vince, what makes you think you can dig this hole faster with your thing than me and my shovel? Oh, well, Carl, it's an auger bit that goes on the end of a really powerful drill. It goes, and there's the hole. Oh, okay, well, that's evidence. It works well.
No, I'm actually using one of those lasers that come out of one of the planes. It's much quicker.
Yes. As long as you've got the fire brigade on standby, I can see no problems with that whatsoever.
Oh, yeah. Well, that keeps them employed, right? And that's what
it does get a bit hot around the edge.
Employment. So, yeah.
See, so $60 a year, which is quite significantly more than a Voice of Freedom, $1.25 a week membership. Can I just point that out? Is $60 a year, 16 cents a day, or in fact 16.4 cents a day. So let's call it 17 cents a day. That's pretty cheap for the community, the unity, the family that you will gain access to. And if you are travelers, if you are holidayers, or if you are business owners, there is elements within the Unity Hub that you need to get yourself on, particularly if you're a business owner. Do you want to describe that a bit for us, Vince?
Yeah, I'll do that when we'll go in a minute. What I might do, Carl, is actually start stepping through the processes of what is actually
Share your
involved
screen,
and then
mate.
take you into the hub. So, you know, alongside of that, with the business development and the stuff that comes into there, there's also going to be the option where businesses will be able to team up with players that are helping to support My Place that are not fully My Place, if you know what I mean. For example, Voice of Freedom, right? You're your own independent entity. So that would be one of the situations. And I'm just trying to find, it should be just that one. I just want to share that one.
Beautiful. So Murray River Explorer, I hope to catch up with you on the Murray River in October. We'll be cruising along there, being at Echuca on the 12th. Don't know where you are, but maybe we can catch up. He raises a point. If I disagree with a post in My Place, in a nice way, I get told that perhaps this group is not right for me. Who's adminning these groups, mate?
Everybody, sort of. Everybody has the ability to report a post. Now, in the system, it's got the ability that after 5 sequential reports on a post, it's going to automatically ban it until one of the IT people and one of our moderators can go and look at it and make a determination. Our social user policy has the ability to ask, you know, I would like this reviewed, or I disagree with this ruling, or whatever. So we've got all those options available.
Yeah.
But effectively, anybody now, if he has a post that's disagreed with, right? What was it? Can you actually put that question back up, Carl? Or was that if that's possible, or am I making it hard for you? Right.
I disagree with My Place.
It's perhaps not the right route for me. Yes, I'm hoping it will be in a nice way, because one of our things is our guidelines for community is that we've been.
Well, I think that's the point. Murray River Explorer is saying he said this in a nice way. I disagree with whatever the post was in a nice way. And then he gets slapped back in the comments by somebody who says, well, perhaps this group isn't right for you then.
Oh, well, that person's bitchy.
Yeah.
Right? As my common thing is that, yeah, so what? Move on.
Yep, I would agree. I wouldn't get too put out by it. There's always going to be small people. And for the viewers in our family who are caravanning, camping types who have been on the road, and if you happen to have a motorhome, might be looking for a bit of help. I've been going into some of these Facebook sites and just reading about, you know, little pitfalls and whatnot. A lady or a man, I don't really know who, made a very easy statement. It was a statement about how to make a clothesline out of nothing in the middle of nowhere. He wasn't asking for people to send him money. He wasn't asking for people to applaud him for making a clothesline out of nothing in the middle of nowhere. He was just simply saying, if you don't have a clothesline, this is a really easy way of making it. And he posted this little video up. And next thing, the chat beneath it filled up with all people saying, oh, shit, that's a useless bloody clothesline. Oh, could have made a clothesline half as big as that and twice as good, or twice as big as that and half as good. I don't know. Everybody wants to be a bloody, you know, know-it-all, an expert. And if somebody posts something up by way of an offering, here is what I have done. I don't care what you do. Here is what I have done. If that helps somebody like me who knows nothing about how to use the sewage systems inside a motorhome, and trust me, that's something you want to get right. You do want to learn about. Then being told by some numpty who knows everything about sewage systems that, this isn't the group for you, because I express a level of knowledge that is beneath theirs. Well, that's not the kind of group I'm going to stay around in a long time. But I will leave with a parting slap. You have no fear. Because I like to educate rude people. You've never met a rude person until you've pissed me off. Trust me. Rude people.
Some private conversations with Carl. That would be a yes. I trust you on that.
Thank you. Very good. So, so yeah, we need to give some respect to people in those sorts of instances where they do not have the level of knowledge that you do. And this extends not just to how you work a plumbing system inside a motorhome or a caravan. It extends all the way through to the Unity Hub. How do we work together to bring our community better, wiser, closer together, to gain more for the community, to do better things for our community? We can only do that by having conversations which aren't shouting down those people who say, oh, look, I've got a new way to dig a hole. Right?
Correct.
We've got to be open.
Correct.
Hey, show us how you dig your hole. Keen to look.
Yep.
But when your method proves to be not as effectual as another method, then you won't be upset because we take the faster method because we got a lot of holes to dig.
Yeah.
That's the kind of way this works. That's why Darren can come on like last Friday night. And while I think he blurred the lines a little bit, if you weren't listening, you probably didn't hear him say, in my personal opinion, before he started talking about the vote and which way or how not to vote or all those sorts of things. It could have come across as like, well, this is the head of my place talking about what my place is about. And that isn't the case at all. Darren is more than welcome to hold his own personal opinion, and that was what he was expressing on Friday night. It is not an overarching executive following or order coming down from on high to all my places. Far, far, far from it. Just simply a personal expression of his own opinion. Now, he'll learn better to make a bigger statement, I think, about his personal opinions when he's going to make them. But nobody needs to worry that, you've got to be feeling like Darren does to be made feel a part of the family at a My Place near you. That certainly isn't the case. Can I tell you, folks, just while we're talking about My Places near you, we are launching the My Place Redlands. I had no idea that there was a My Place Cleveland either. So My Place Cleveland and Redlands could well become a bit of an amalgamated thing, considering they're fairly close. I'll have to get in touch with the people at Cleveland to figure that out. But our opening will now take place. We've had to move the date because of the friggin' AFL Grand Final. Carrying on like bloody pork chops, bloody... I don't know. Why do people get so excited about chasing around a bit of dead pig inflated with a bit of air? I just do not understand. But we've had to change our date from the 30th of September to the 29th. So it'll be the Friday night, not the Saturday night. If you were flying in, I'm sorry if you've had to change your flights. It's a bummer. And that's what's happened with Cass. She's had to change her flights. And Darren, I think, had just snuck in, so he'll be here. But we've had to juggle a few of the events that Darren was going to be doing. I would like to thank those My Places that are involved in that juggling for their support in moving their events around so that we could move the launch of the My Place in Redlands to the Friday night. So, yeah, thank you very much to everybody. Sorry that it is such late notice for the change. So it'll be Friday the 29th of September in the eastern suburbs in Capalaba. Happy enough to say that. And look forward to seeing you there. If you want to come for tickets, then you'll need a ticket. And we will be putting out an invitation to your ticket request. So please email Rachel, Rachel, at vofhq.com. And she will put you on a list. And we will do up an invite. And hopefully you'll get that this coming week. That is the plan. But put the 29th down, not the 30th, if you want to come to our opening. Sorry, Vince. Get carried away. Are you ready to share? Let me share the page.
Yeah, it's sitting there waiting for you. Okay. So, yeah, no, that's good to hear about the change of plans for that. And that's for the opening of the Freedom Broadcasting Network, isn't it?
Well, there you go. Now you've just dropped the name. So well done. I think I'd been pretty good and not bothered mentioning it up until that point. But as you've let it out, good on you.
Sorry, was I not supposed to do that? Please cut that piece out of his live transmission. Okay.
I don't think it matters that much. But yes, the new entity that we are building will be known as the Freedom Broadcasting Network. So my show will fall under that, as will any number of other shows that we wind up helping to produce to put on this channel. The channel will initially start with a radio station and this program going out like it normally does, but there'll be a lot more happening on the radio side of it too. So we'll be able to interject all through the day give you little news updates and all sorts of interesting bits and pieces. So there's a lot more coming regarding the Freedom Broadcasting Network. Thank you, Vince.
Yeah, you're welcome, mate. I'll get the kick up, and it's your turn to return the size 9. Okay, so that's actually going to work in with the Unity Hub as well, because obviously we're going to be looking at entities where we can do stories about my place and various bits and pieces.
Yeah,
and get like we have one happening down here for Len Harris soon, here in South Australia. That's Senator Len Harris, for those of you who are not aware, who is busily fighting to make sure that we can get to keep our land titles. But you know, we're going to try and record that, and that's something that will end up on the hub here, which will be something that Voice of Freedom and the new network will have access to in bits and pieces. But so it's all about bringing businesses together to work to better this country. All right, it's all about bringing people together, to getting them to feel comfortable enough to stand up and be whatever. Anyway, let's get into this. Sorry, it's such a big picture. It's such a big where we're going with this. It's like, how do you just get that message across? How do what can I do, says one person, but 27 million of us. It's like, it's really difficult. But if you can see the big picture, you can see the dream, you can see what the hub is about, and it's the start of that process. Yeah. Anyway, so basically to get here, I'm going to look sideways because I'm looking at a different screen, guys. So if you think I'm looking weird, that's okay. I won't be offended. My Place Australia, it's my.myplaceaustralia.org. You can also get to it from myplaceaustralia.org. There is a link right there as well that will take you to it. Okay, so that gives you that option. Now, we did talk about the fact that this is a paid service. One of the reasons we've got it as a paid service, obviously, is for all those other reasons, but there's another one. If you're a troll and you want to come on here, you're going to have to pay to do it. All right? And I'm going to tell you, you're welcome. Right? Come on here. Do yourself in, break our guidelines. You'll be out, and we will thank you for your donation. Okay? Fairly simple.
Yep.
All right, so welcome. Please come on in. But over here now, understand that what you're going to see here is an admin view, right? Because I have access to all of the groups and bits and pieces. So when you log in, it may look a bit different. But the idea of showing you the admin view is going to show you the enormity of this. Now, you've got two ways of getting into the hub. You can sign in or you can sign up. I've got some people leaving. Right, we'll just take you through the sign up process first. So if I click on sign up, all right, it brings you to the hub registration page, which basically goes through and describes what the hub is about. Ability to connect with your local community, ability to have your voice heard, ability to have, notice it's all ability because you have to have the ability, right? Ability to connect to like-minded individuals. Like-minded doesn't mean clones, as you can well guess, between me and Darren having two different opinions. Ability to share documents, photos, and videos easily, join discussion groups, finding like-minded businesses that you can work with, and so on and so forth. The important part down here is we have a positive culture agreement, right, which is something you have to agree to. Now, positive culture agreement is about doing right by people, not slandering them, not doing bad by them, not doing anything else. It's about building, right? And we also have some social media guidelines, right? And if you agree to abide by the above documents, those two, please consider continue to the registration page. I'm seeing my name's not Carl. I can't read like him. All right, registration page by clicking on the sign up button below. I just need to slow down, don't I, Carl?
Yes, you're getting a little ahead of yourself, but there you go.
Always. I'm an IT guy. I'm not a radio personality.
That's why I talk and you write in code.
Yeah, pretty much.
All good.
Right. We have also the support option. See, now part of that funding is going to help support actually paying people to look after you on this website. Right. So this means people start getting jobs. How many of us have been fired or sacked or because of something I can't mention on this channel because it'll get 1-2K killed. So, right. Right now, due to the nature of our privacy and security requirements, if your password does not register on the password strength meter on the following page, please manually enter your password. So sometimes people copy a password and paste it in. Sometimes the paste doesn't take depending on the browser, and this password strength meter doesn't work. So I'll show you that when we get to it, which is now. So we have the options here for a yearly plan at $60, right? And you choose your state that you are in. So if you're in NT, you would choose that. If you're in Tas, you would choose that. Now, you're only ever buying one of these subscriptions or one of these memberships, right?
Yep.
Once you're in, you can access other groups. Say if you're in Tassie and you've got friends in New South Wales Redlands, for instance, you can join the Redlands group.
Yep.
That's not a problem. Okay, but what it does is just defines you to your state. Now, not everybody can afford $60 straight off. We understand that. So we went to the process of being able to do monthly plans at $5 a month. Okay, now if you work this out, we're not giving a discount, all right? Because quite often if you pay yearly, you'll get a discount. And the monthly people pay more. Well, we had that discussion. We figured that's pretty unfair, right? Because if they're paying monthly, it's because they are already poorer. So let's keep it the same. All right. So there's all these things. I'm not going to watch them. So, for instance, let's say I want to sign up to the New South Wales group. I will click on the sign up button right here. All right. And it takes us to our page for sign up, which is fairly simple. All right, $60 My Place subscription, all right, for the New South Wales community up the top here. Now it says have a coupon. From time to time and for special events, we will do certain things with these coupons, which basically if you click in there, you do a coupon code and it will discount or remove the cost of the subscription completely. All right, so that is an option that's there at this stage that we are not using, right? But it works very well.
It's in the background, I believe, so that in the future, should people who are in the Unity Hub and using it and finding value to it, will be able to buy a subscription for somebody who, like you say, doesn't have the $60 a year there and then to join it. So I believe
now it's your turn to give away information.
No, I just hear that things are happening.
Payback for the last one, right? Yes, it's the freedom. It is the pay it forward option that all my classes are starting to adopt. So if you want to know more about pay it forward, you perhaps need to join. How's that for sales pitch? Okay. So yes, it is. There are going to be people who are out there who are struggling, who are working hard and doing great in their community, but literally cannot afford to be on here. Well, that place might say, well, we're going to pay their subscription. We're going to pay it forward.
Because they're a doer. Right. They've been here working, they're helping out, they're doing whatever. We want them part of it here. Yeah. So I think that's a great option. All right, so you fill in all the paperwork. Let's get into the site, mate, because this is all starting to look as boring as batshit. I think everybody knows how a credit card sign-in system works.
All right. So we shall do that. Let me just jump back here. Sign in. Please, everybody, take down my password. There it is. All right. Now, when you first come into the My Place, it's going to just dump you straight into the global My Place Australia feed, right? Which is going to give you access to all the feeds here. So everybody who joins gets this. They also get a feed into their own state, which I will show you in a minute. And as you can see, we've got people who are posting at the moment. We're trying to hold the posts off on this one because we're wanting to give people an idea of what is available. Read more, etc. Now, notice across the top, You've got your members feeds, photos, videos. That's for this particular feed. All right, up the top here on our menu here, we've got your personal global menu. So you see we've got members, we've got forums, we've got groups, we've got frequently asked questions for it as well. You've also got some of those over here for your personal stuff, your profile, what your timeline is. So you've got your own timeline that you can post on. You've got news feeds that might be coming in. You've got your messages. You've got your groups that you're attached to. You've got your My Connections that are in here that you can also use, My Discussions. And here you've got an access to global videos that have been posted for anybody, because you can post a video on here and mark it private so that only you can see it, or that only your group members can see it and nobody else on the hub can. So there's things like that. The same with documents as well. So only the group people can see, you know, we're looking at a particular document here, everybody read this, give us our feedback, but that would only be for the health and wellbeing group.
Yep.
So they've only ones. And then once we're happy, it would go global to everybody, that sort of thing. So it gives us that ability to move forward on there.
Yep.
So if we go to the groups, let's just explain how the actual site works. If we go, oh, what's that? Who put that there?
So the Voice of Freedom has its own Unity Hub site.
It does, which Carl is in charge of. So we'll have to see how much he posts there.
Yeah.
Right? But what we can see here is what we call the top level of the hub. Now, you'll understand that as I go through. So we've got various groups. We've got the Voice of Freedom. Now, this is you want information. You want to give information to Carl. You want to post stuff. You can ask to join his little group, and he will come along and say yes or no. You can come and join my group, unless he wants to make it free for all, which we can discuss later. And you can get him information that he can use on his shows to help teach other people, right? We have an IT group, and this is the other one that Carl's going to have to join. He's going to have to do this. I'm not doing it for him. Australian Nomad.
Yeah.
I think you're on mine to join that one, mate.
I've already joined it.
That's for the travellers around the country, so they can have their own discussion group. All right, now you can see we've got things like New South Wales communities, My Place Australia General Chat. We've got Queensland Place communities.
Yeah, you've got a community for every state. Yeah,
we have,
and there are certain interest groups within everything, within the My Place overarching umbrella, as you can sort of. We don't have to go through each of them individually. No, people can go inside and have a look themselves.
We'll pick Victoria, right? So we've gone into the Victorian My Place communities. Carl's just keeping me on track here, guys, because I tend to wander. All right. Notice down here under it says members 131, feed, photo, and it says subgroups 58. All right. Actually, I should have chosen New South Wales so I could show Redlands, but anyway.
You picked Queensland because that's where the Redlands is.
Yeah, sorry, that one too. See, even I don't know where I'm at in Australia.
No.
Right, but notice down in here now we've got a whole heap of subgroups. My Place Manfield, My Place Shepparton, Mildura, right? My Place Horsham. So these is where you join into your local My Place. So for instance, if I chose My Place Horsham, right, at the moment we've got, oh, look, there's a community meeting coming up. Now that was
what date's that happening?
Horsham Royal Hotel, Sunday the 10th of September at 12:30, 10th. Oh, so that's already passed. Sorry, it's not coming up.
That's an old one. I was going to say I can't be there by the 10th of September.
So that'll be from one of our testers who's put that in there and showing how it can work in bits and pieces. Now, I just chose that by random, guys, and already we got information. Even if it's old information, we got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, as you say, the site has been in beta now for a few weeks, so it hasn't really had anything other than test stuff put into it. And I don't know exactly what the uptake has been since Sunday when you went live, but I believe a reasonable amount of people have already joined, and the community is only growing. So if you would like to be part of it, folks, then follow Vince's directions and go and join.
It's a soft join. right? We have started off quietly, just advertising through Voice of Freedom and their own little websites and bits and pieces. So it's not like a full-on yay release. It is released, it is open, but we don't want to, we're letting people join at their own rate. So yes, we've had quite a few join it. It's going along quite well. And the more and more join, the more and more information we'll get out. One of the exciting things I think about this, Carl, and that we're going to have things like event calendars that are going to come in for events for everywhere, other bits and pieces. But one of the things we did was we built a business directory. So this is the start of that. I'll get rid of that. That blue screen is not normally there. Right, this is the start of the business directories that are coming into play. Now, Luke at this stage from Queensland has that 150 to add to this, so he's going to be a busy boy. Right?
Wow.
So, because they've got a big spreadsheet over there. But as you can see, and we can set up more categories, features, videos, festivals, hotels, restaurants, etc. People are already starting to use it. All right, we have, for instance, health and well-being. So we've got, get rid of that one. Sorry, that's once again an admin thing. So you can see that this person here was a naturopath, Ben.
Yep.
He's just joined up and he's now advertising his business. That means that anybody can come on here, find out when his open and close times are. I don't know how well he set it up. Let's go in and have a look. Get rid of that.
People
Right,
are asking
so
how
there we
safe
are.
the system is. Is it safe from hackers and losing all your data?
We have a backup system. This system is on our own. Well, not our own. We rent servers from an Australian company because we're trying to keep the money in Australia. We have regular backups. Actually, some of the funds will be going into allowing us to do automated backups. All right. Are we safe from hacking? Ooh, that's an interesting question.
This week, yes. Next week, we know.
Yeah. Well, there's legislation out there that the government has written that says they have every right to come in to your private email, your private Facebook, your private whatever, and alter what you have said.
Yep.
And post that.
And then take you to court for it.
Yeah. My first argument going to be prove you didn't change it.
Yeah.
With your own laws. But anyway.
Yep.
We will do
Andy
our
wants
best.
to know if you've got animal rescue groups lining up in there yet.
Mate, not yet, but by all means, log in, set it up, and we'll put up a whole thing for it for the businesses for animal rescue. Yes,
Brilliant.
we can do that. That's what we're here
right
for.
up for that. Got a sneaking suspicion I'm going to wind up towing a menagerie around with me in the not too distant future. But anyway, we'll see what happens.
So you can see Ben's done a really good job of this. He's laid it out. He's got heaps of information. Right. I have not looked at this. This is a first time look. We've got a phone number to contact him, right? Address of where he is, email address, and the map. Oh, little hint, because it's not a paid Google map, it's using OpenStreetMaps. You have to refresh the page to get the map properly. Hopefully, once we can pay for Google services, we'll get an automatic refresh, or they'll fix a bug, one of the two. So you
Alan
can see
wants to
here
know
where
if
he
you've
is.
got offline backup copies, Vince.
Most definitely, and I'm not telling you where. All right. It's closed. He's got there the times that he's available, and you can choose. So, this business directory is brilliant. Think of all the people that you could have in your own businesses, right, around your own local areas. Members.
And we can naturally assume that Benjamin thinks a bit like we do.
Yes.
So you don't have to be guarded in your speech when you go in there. You don't have to be too worried about it. There's already a level of comfort and familiarity because he's come. You found him through My Place, and if he's in the My Place register, then he knows what My Place is all about, and is obviously a part of it. So it should be a very comfortable experience for everybody.
Indeed. So you can also search for members. And so here, so I hope Karen doesn't mind me doing this. I apologise if you do, Karen. You can hit me later. But there's me. There's Camillo, right? We all know who Camillo is. We've got Luke Hart from up in Queensland, etc. So you can search for your members. You can join them. You can follow them. If I go to my timeline, for instance, I've got 2 notifications up there already I have to deal with. All right, you can see that I have 34 followers, and I don't know why, they're silly people, but that's okay. 10 following. All right, you can see the comments that get made. Does this not look like a Facebook page, honestly?
Well, it certainly does. I'm a bit confused about the man you've got posting hugging a tree, but
Benjamin,
you didn't post that.
No, I didn't post that. No, that's somebody on my feed that I
thought it might be you, a picture of you leaning seductively up against the tree.
Oh, mate, there's nothing seductive about me. So effectively, things on growth and planting. So we're getting hints on that. I like this. If you can't read it, unmasked, untested, and unafraid.
And unafraid.
Right? Very nice. I like that one. Oh, and
some very good T-shirts running around the Hunter Valley with that on them. Hello, Sean, by the way.
Right. So there are so many levels. Now, remember when I showed you the groups, and I just took you down one set of groups, right? That was just in Victoria. Where's our New South Wales? Queensland, actually.
Down one, I think.
South Australia, good state.
It's disappeared, but we get the idea.
Yeah, okay. Each of these little groups that comes up, right, is that the challenge being with it is that we have to hierarchy it so that it goes into various groups. Otherwise, you'd just be forever searching this page. So go into one option, pick it, go down and search and look at the subgroups. At the moment, last count, there is probably about nearly 300 subgroups.
Wow, okay.
All right.
And they're only going to grow as people bring in new interests and
yep.
Yeah,
we've just recently done one of the My Places has asked to put in a whole heap of food security subgroups under their own My Place. And we've had to add 4 or 5 different groupings of that: CAGs, food security, medical, etc. So there is so much of that. Plus, there's going to be the global groups for medical stuff. There's going to be the global for food security, where those local subgroups can join that global group and get ideas from it and develop it and build the infrastructure and start having places like the organic farmers in Western Australia talking to the South Australians and the Queenslanders and whatever. All that's coming into play. That's what people have to see. The $60 is not just buying you your own private little here I can bitch channel.
Yeah.
Right. It's buying you a dream of saving this country. Right.
Yep.
And if somebody abuses you on here, you don't think it's fair. Well, I like a saying from an old boss of mine, which is take a cup of cement and harden it up. All right. So, it's not about you.
Sometimes people are at a lower vibration than you are, and all they can do is criticize. They haven't yet been able to step up to, the other side of things, being able to offer advice.
I love your analogy about the book. Oh, look at that message. Yep. Karen. Hi, I've sorted out, signed up now. Oh, good on you, Karen. Thank you.
Well done, Karen. Coming in live.
But your analogy about the book that you give, right? You want to repeat that because that is just so good.
Yeah. We're all reading the same book, but we are all on different pages of that book. Some are much deeper into the book, closer to the end, we hope, and some are just starting. So the fact is, we have to be encouraging those folks who are just starting, because we know what they're going to find in the early parts of the book, because we found them and we got excited when we found them. So we can't dismiss that when a newbie makes the same discovery we did and gets excited about it, even if it is 3 years after we made that discovery and got excited about it. Otherwise, we run the risk of turning them off, looking down further rabbit holes and making further discoveries, joining our groups like My Place, joining the bigger movement that Darren was referring to the other day, and becoming part of our side of the problem-solving argument rather than part of theirs, which is the problem continuing. So while we are all reading the same book, very few of us are on the same page at the same time. We all think we know a great deal. Goes for me, goes for Vince, goes for somebody who's only just started looking. They all think they know a great deal. We all know nothing. We have barely scratched the surface in what's coming. But we are all reading the same book. And that is what unifies us. That's what brings us together. That means we can start conversations with complete strangers and not worry about what they think about us, or, oh, gee, that's a crazy woman over there, or that's a crazy guy over there. We don't have to worry about that. You can share where you are in the book. And if you're a little bit further ahead than somebody who's only just started, then you might help them leap a couple of pages very quickly by red pill after red pill after red pill, when they're in a frame of mind to accept those red pills. Don't force them into people. But they will be in that sort of mind frame, that accepting mind frame, in a My Place environment. So you can share. You might find that you bump into somebody who has, and I find it all the time, somebody who has greater knowledge on a lot of what's going on than I do. And I have to sit and listen, and I learn in awe, because that helps me skip a few pages in the book, or it fills in a few pages that I had left blank because I couldn't quite see how they fitted in the book. I'm probably mixing my analogies now between books and jigsaws, but that's how the book analogy essentially works. We are all reading the same book. We know there is a truth that is being hidden from us. We all know that. How much we know about that varies as to where you are in the book. And with a bit of luck, you'll come to a My Place, and your level of understanding will grow exponentially. And with that level of understanding and education, you'll be able to go and help and educate others. Now, I'm not saying go out and throw red pills down their throats, but I am suggesting bring them to a My Place function.
Yeah.
Let them become part of the family that way.
All right. We only shoot the really bad ones, mate.
Vince, thanks very much for taking us through tonight. Is there anything else you really particularly wanted to show off?
Other than myself?
No. Right, that's enough of that.
Right, no, that was the Redlands place that was just on there that Carl has yet to fully join and get there. Now, when are you opening the Redlands? When's that happening? That's the show?
29th of September. 29th of September, we will
two
have
are
our
happening
launch.
at the same time. Is that what's going on?
So, no. I gather, I saw a thing from Camillo. No, there won't be two things happening at the same time, Camillo, because you're coming to my opening as well. I hope you are. No, Darren was meant to call you today and have a conversation. He may have called Glenn, is it, in Noosa, and had a conversation with him. But yeah, we've had to juggle some dates, and we will not have you miss out. Don't fear, you will not miss out. But because of the AFL Grand Final, we've had to juggle a few things, and it has been a pain in the left testicle, if I'm all honest. But thank you for your understanding, even if you're not understanding it right about now.
No, I'm not, obviously, because I'm going to query you on it. So This is the day that gets the release of the wonderful travelling companion you've got, the big thing, as well as Redlands. Is that right?
There's no way to refer to her. She won't like you referring to her as the big thing.
Well, I'm trying not to give too much away.
Good on you.
But yeah.
Yes.
Effectively, though, are you releasing?
Yep. On the 29th, we will.
Studio?
Yep. On the 29th, we will launch the studio, and we will do that at a venue in Capalaba, which has opened its doors as a My Place venue going forward. Also open for lunches and dinners, and so we can have meetings during the day if it's easier and better to catch up there. But it is a business, and it is a distillery. If you like gin, you're probably going to enjoy it. but if it doesn't work out as a permanent venue, then there is already a Cleveland venue. Redlands and Cleveland, well, Cleveland is in the Redlands. So Redlands is sort of an all-encompassing name for areas like Redland Bay, Cleveland, Alexandria Hills, Capalaba, Victoria Point, Wellington Point, those sorts of areas.
Sorry, Carl, I'm going to interrupt for a second. So that actually raises an interesting point. As we're growing bits and pieces, right, you'll see how we've now got Cleveland inside the Redlands.
Yeah.
Now, somebody started up a Redland, someone started up a Cleveland. We don't always catch that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter because the groups can work together.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to stand on ceremony, and I would love to see the people at Cleveland get theirs up and running. I'm more than happy to come down and be part of that. I'm sure that this venue would love to have us turning up, and I'm certainly going to make use of it as a live venue for shows that I'm doing here in Brisbane, because it's just a great venue for that kind of thing. So I'll be using it one way or the other, but certainly great to have it as part of the My Place facility range. Let's leave it at that, shall we? So that's coming up on the 29th. Tickets are available from Rachel at vofhq.com, and we will send you an invite. I don't think, I don't know. You might get a bit smart and make up a QR code, Vince, that, somebody's got to stand at the door and click.
As much as I hate them, right? Literally, an IT person hates QR codes, right? I will make one up if you request it.
I'm struggling to find a reason for it, really, other than just annoy people while they arrive. But anyway, we'll have a talk about that. But 29th, if you want to come, we would love to have you. Darren Bergwerf will be there. Cass will be coming up. She'll have a bit of a chat about self-managed super funds if you have any questions. That's the night to bail her up face-to-face and get them answered. Darren Bergwerf, if you want to find out about who's voting which way, where, and why, and in his personal opinion why he is going that way, then you can bail him up against a wall and have a quiet conversation with him about that. And if you want to catch up with me, well, I'll be floating around as well. I am also hopeful that there will be a galactic larrikin amongst us.
That'd be nice.
I hope he's coming. I hope one of them is coming, because I need somebody to push some buttons. But with a bit of luck, we'll have a galactic larrikin amongst us as well. So it's going to be a big week next week. The vehicle has yet to go in to be wrapped. In fact, we haven't even settled on a design yet. And hopefully that will happen in the next 48 hours. And once the design is settled, they'll go to print it. I think I'll have to take the vehicle to get wrapped. They said it was a 2 or 3 day job to do that. So late this week, early next week, we might get it back and be ready to go. Should also point out that I believe Sunday we've got an event on, which I'll have to get John Wilson on for a bit of a chat. We're heading out into the Brisbane Valley on Sunday too, folks, for a bit of a catch-up in the Toogoolawah area. The Mount Beppo Hall is where we're going to be from about 10 o'clock in the morning. There'll be a number of speakers. John will be one. I think I'm saying a few words, which will probably get inside. We're about to start. Hurry up, folks. That's usually the kind of thing they get me to say. And I believe that there will be, I think, 4 or 5 other speakers. They're going to let people know about the new power lines and construction that's being put in place in that part of the world, from a new dam to be constructed and a hydro power link to send power out to the mines. This has got a lot to do with farmers and access to their properties. The farmers don't want to give it up. The government are telling them they have no choice. So rights are being ridden roughshod over again. And that's this Sunday at the Mount Beppo Hall. Gets underway at 10 o'clock. We'll see you there, John Wilson and myself. But I will not be in the Mobile Broadcast Centre. I will just be in the car.
Just as a point, just then you listed off about, I don't know how many bits and pieces that are happening. And that's just on the Voice and Freedom side. Wait until you start getting everything that's happening from the My Places. We'll have a new show that's going on. Oh, this place is going to have this place is going to have that. And speaking of which, Madam My Place is having a Shield Renew session with Mr. Tim Dwyer and his
great.
team. All right, that is happening on the 30th of this month at the Madam Showgrounds. right? $10 a head to come in. We'll supply tea and coffee. I would suggest you bring your own lunch. But it's about a 5-hour way of learning how to shield yourself from the outside negative, right? Build yourself up and to heal things that may have been affecting you in the past. So it's a really, really good. Tim is brilliant in this area. Not only is he a constitutionalist, but he's got inventive skills. He's, we might have to give him an Isaac Newton award or something for just intelligence.
Yeah.
Anyway,
or just throw apples at him. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, that might work. So actually, maybe we can do it. No, anyway, stop that. So effectively, that's happening as well. So these news and bits and pieces, these will be part of what will be coming down the track. That will be in the My Places and hopefully really well professionally developed by an organisation that might be just releasing shortly. So that will be great, right, to move that thing forward. Outside of that, right, I have done monopolising your show, Carl.
Right. It's been a pleasure to have you. Go away.
Thank you.
I'll see you next time. Thanks, Vince. Great man. Couldn't do the show, couldn't do the website, couldn't do anything without Vince. He is my man, and I'm very grateful and thankful to have his expertise behind what we do here at the Voice of Freedom. Folks, very quickly, just before we shoot off tonight, I'll answer a couple of questions. Yes, Camillo, I will bring Darren Thursday if that's what's required. I think he's going to have a car, but I'll be able to come. So, yes, I will come as well to Sunshine Coast on the Thursday. And Wednesday, I think, is Gold Coast. So he's arriving Wednesday night, Gold Coast, Thursday, you, Friday, me. And I want to say Saturday night now might be Jimboomba. I think he was talking about going to today. But we'll figure that one out. Camillo, thank you very much for you and your crew for being able to move things around just a little bit. I want to play you something that was sent to me today by one of the friends that we have here in our groups. This is something that I've shown you before with water, but this friend, Mick, went out this morning, or in fact, I think it was yesterday morning, and after reading some information online, he decided to go and test the theory. This is what he did.
Scraping all this stuff off my windscreen because I haven't washed my car for a long time. It looks like dust particles, but I just want to grab a whole heap. We're going to see if it's magnetizing, because this, I believe, is what they're spraying on us. So just bear with me for a second. As you can see what I'm doing, and the wind's a bit windy, so hopefully I can pick it up. Good. I'll come over here now. Keep going. Great. I'm going to put on paper. Now, if it's magnetized, we'll know, because these particles should be moving with the magnet directly underneath it. I think we need a flat surface, so we'll go in the house. So just keep videotaping it.
That's what I'm doing.
So he went in the house and set it all up. Then instead of trying to use the magnet underneath the paper, did this.
Okay, I'm just going to see if this magnet picks up any of this dust particles that actually collected from my windscreen and my windows on my car. Now, if there's any metal to it, it will actually stick. Let's see if anything sticks. Well. There you have it. It's definitely metal.
So if you leave your car outside and you're concerned about chemtrails, do yourself a little test. Wash your car and wait for a chemtrail day. The next day, go out, scrape your car down on the glass with a razor blade. Try not to scratch your glass. And get a little magnet. See whether or not you can make whatever that dust is that you scrape up dance. And if you can, what questions does that raise in your mind? Why would that be doing that? How would it get there? It can only fall from the sky. Your car's not shedding magnetized nanoparticles. So it can only be coming from the sky. Or is there a nano ferry that flies around every suburb overnight and every house and sprinkles this dust? The Fluby dust, as a good friend of mine would once call it. I don't know. But there is some weird shit coming down out of our skies. Now, ask yourself this, folks. Is it aluminium? Is it barium? And if it is either of those things, the question needs to be asked, are there problems with fire? So I would say that fire is a big issue, and what they are doing and spraying is an accelerant into our bush areas. It's simply going on the ground, and that means when the fire starts on the ground, it's going to burn hotter and more intense than anything we've ever seen before. This is a total fire ban that was in effect today. There are 14 school areas, I believe, where schools were closed today because of a fire ban. How interesting that they close the schools on a total fire ban day. Does that ring any bells to you? Does it sound remotely like what happened in Maui? School closed that day that the fires swept through. Kids, thousands of them. You're not aware because the mainstream media won't tell you. And unless you're, hunting around in the telegrams of the world, you won't know. But there are thousands of people dead in Lahaina. Thousands, most of them children, because they were left at home that day. Schools were closed, left at home. Mums and dads went to work. And, of course, the fires came down. The children had nowhere to go, no one to save them. And even if they did, the police in Lahaina were blocking people evacuating the area. Why? Also, have a look at the intensity of those fires. Have a look at the melted engine blocks. Have a look at the absolute devastation of the fires. Things weren't burnt. They were turned to ash, to powder, to white powder. Everything. Unless it was painted blue, apparently. Now, that is not a normal fire. All right, might be a laser, but it might also be a mixture of barium and aluminium and whatever else they're spraying us with, that is falling down into our leaf litter, into our trees, into our water supplies, into everything. But in those particularly dangerous areas, and in Australia, the eastern seaboard is prime for fire right now. The whole eastern seaboard. There are places up in far north Queensland, central Queensland. In fact, a couple of bushfires in central Queensland and the Sunshine Coast yesterday. I think Beerwah had one in a forest there. It's only, maybe 40 minutes north of Brisbane. So they're starting. The fires are coming. And they're only going to get worse. And, of course, the Bureau woke up today and tells us that La Nina or El Nino or whatever one's coming. Oh, it started. Woohoo, it started. Well, just be prepared, folks. Be prepared. That's all we can ever do. We're Australian. We know about bushfires. And we'll certainly know when one doesn't quite look right. In my estimation, a lot of our bushfires don't look quite right. So if you are in a bushland setting, get prepared before summer. Get those fire breaks cut. Get that area clean around your house, pushed back. And if it's possible to put some sort of a ember attack solution or an ember attack guard on your roof, then do that as well. Try and keep your property from being torched. But it is going to be a long, hot, and I suspect extremely dangerous summer. So just be careful, folks. Be very, very careful. I'm going to love you and leave you tonight. And thank you to Vince for coming on and giving us a bit of a walk through the Unity Hub. I commend it to you, folks. It's $60 a year. And the benefit that you will gain from that will be huge. The communities that you will be able to reach into, the ideas that you will be able to explore, use, and hopefully put to extremely good use in your own My Place area or in your own life, all free to use after you've paid your $60 to get in. And as Vince has said, if you have a business as well, the business directory that Luke has working his ass off on the Gold Coast putting together, is one of the most powerful tools in this effort, in this Unity hub. So if you have a business, get into it. Make sure that you are networking in there, because that's where I'm going to go looking for businesses that are supporting the freedom movement, and you can be part of that. We look forward to seeing you. Be safe on the roads, folks. There is a lot of losers out there.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!